Hey, you won't have many of these trig equations on your test, but I at least needed to bring them to your attention. So I ask you to solve the trig equation for all theta, and there's two different ways this is asked. Sometimes it's asked like this for all theta, and sometimes it's asked just in one unit circle. So I'll show you both ways. What I know about this first is I need to find which reference angle gives me the 1/2. So I'm going to forget the negative for just a second and just deal with the 1/2. So if I think about it, drawing up a special triangle, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So if I look at those two particular values, I know that the missing side is square root of 3 because I'm prepared to know that the ratios for these triangles are 1, 2, and the square root of 3. So I knew it was going to be the square root of 3. I know that what's opposite the square root of 3 is 60 degrees, and I know that 60 degrees is pi over 3. So I know my reference angle is going to be pi over 3. That's not my answer, but I know the reference angle is pi over 3. Now, the next thing I have to do is determine where is the cosine negative. So if I look at my angles, all students take calculus. The cosine is positive here, and the cosine is positive here. That means it has to be negative in quadrants 3 and 4. Okay? So, if I look at quadrant 3 and quadrant 4, my reference angle is pi over 3. Remember, this value right here is just plain pi. If I put it in a fraction form in terms of thirds, the whole number 1 is 3 over 3. So 1 pi is the same thing as 3 over 3 pi. So going around, this particular piece right here is almost 3 pi over 3, but it's 1 short. So this angle here would be 1 short of 3 pi over 3, so this would be 2 pi over 3. Now looking at the second angle, it would be all the way to 3 pi over 3 and then 1 more. So 3 pi over 3 plus 1 more would be 4 pi over 3. If I ask you what is the value of this equation in 1 unit circle, your answer would be 2 pi over 3 and 4 pi over 3. If it just said in 1 unit circle, but for mine up here it says for all theta. So that means it's going to be 2 pi over 3 going around 1 rotation and a second rotation and a third rotation. And what I mean by that is, let me make it red. If I went around to this angle and stopped, if I made another circle and went around another circle and stopped, and another circle and stopped, that would be, it would just keep going and going and going. So 1 circle, remember, it's 2 pi. Let me erase that equals. So going around 1 circle would be that value, 2 pi over 3, plus 1 circle would be 2 pi. But you want to go around infinitely many times. So k represents going around 1 time, going around 2 times, going around 3 times. So if your directions say for all theta, you're always going to throw a 2k pi or 2 pi k on the back of it, and that means going around 1 circle, 2 circle, 3 circle, 4 circle. If it just asks for 1 circle, the 2 pi over 3 and the 4 pi over 3 is great, but if it asks for more than 1 circle, that's how you would write your answer.